I'm Peyton Fender.
I'm Jeff Doss, and this is
Melina Pecci.
And welcome to the Extra Scoop.
welcome, guys. Welcome. Hope everyone's doing well. How have you been, Peyton? This has been a while since we have done our show, so I'm
Has
excited
been
for
a
this.
while.
Tell
Yeah,
everyone where you've been.
I was on a cruise with my best friend, watching Haley do her thing on Wonder. It was super relaxing, super fun week. It was amazing to see like someone so close to me performing and just making a bunch of people happy. So it was a really fun time.
Awesome, awesome. And Melina, thank you so much for joining us. What have you been up to lately the past week since we've seen you at America?
Thank you guys for having me. Well, I wasn't as on anything as relaxing as a cruise. I just started school 2 weeks ago, so just
Me
been
too.
hitting the books pretty hard. I'm in my senior year of college, so yeah.
Quinn.
Right, you too, right?
I'm supposed to graduate in December actually.
Sweet. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's so cool. Um, all right. So, ladies, before we get into more about Melina and everything, what is next? What's coming up this next? A lot of us, if we're running the NASCAR circuit, we got a little bit of a break, right? It's kind of crazy and weird because I feel like we've all been on this, I don't know since when. It's just been back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
So what's that feeling like? What do you guys do during these breaks? And how is everyone kind of feeling?
I
Melina?
mean,
Or yeah.
training wise, it didn't stop. Well, I mean, after America, obviously, I wasn't here. So, and I mean,
Yeah.
I worked on the ship with Haley a little bit, but otherwise, we were just kind of like hanging out and stuff. And so, back to training this week. School started. So, school for the next couple months. I'll be at King of New York.
Oh,
King of
you
New York.
are? Sweet.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Melina, what
Um,
about you? What do you have coming up?
Nothing really. I have a few like local tournaments here in Florida. I teach a lot of students at like Premier Martial Arts here in South Florida and in Jacksonville. So I'll be going to some of their events,
Okay.
competing, helping out and whatnot. But between that and like school, it's just same old, same old. Training doesn't really change.
Right. Right. Yeah, definitely. It's different. I know for me, especially with running a martial arts school, it's like, all right, well, I'm here on a weekend and I can do events here. I can actually work on the business, which is great. Yeah, same thing. I have several tournaments, regional tournaments that I'm going to. Just went to one last weekend in North Carolina. I have another one next month. Daryl Carter is putting on his first tournament, so I'm going to be there to help him and coordinate that. Yeah, lots of training, lots of getting not just my students here, but all the private lesson students that I teach virtually back into a rhythm, right? Because sometimes with the back-to-back tournaments, it's like, okay, we'll try to do this one tournament or this one lesson, and then maybe we'll do it at the event because it's just there's not as much time, right? But now it gets back to being able to do really a good consistent once or twice per week of training with private lessons. So that's been nice. All right. So Melina, you had a huge weekend at AmeriKick. Share about just that weekend and winning your first overall.
So yes, I won the traditional weapons women's overall. It was amazing. It's something that I've been working towards since I don't know how long, like the past year or so. So just getting finally like winning it was just like a sigh of relief for me. Like I feel like, you know, I got it, I did it, but that I got it, I did it only lasts like a few minutes because then I'm like, okay, now I got to work for the next one and the next one after that. So yeah.
That's right. That's right. Do you feel like you have like that target on your back, or do you feel like, oh, I just got a taste of it and I want more?
I think it's a little bit of both, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
target on my back sounds like really mean, but I think there's like, there's always competition. There's always somebody that is out for your spot. So yeah, I think I do have a little bit of a target on my back. Um, but I did get that taste also, and I want it again. I'm not stopping.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We got a lot
I
of
love
people showing love for
competing.
you in the comments, so that's great. Um, Peyton, share about that, just about that same thing about getting to that point, making it to stage. How what's that difference, or when you feel that when you reach those moments?
Oh, like for me, it I get emotional because like all the hard work we put in, it's like it's finally paying off. And not that we have anything to prove to anybody, but like you feel like you've proven yourself. Like after you win one
Yeah,
of those big titles, or after you just go on stage and like for me be fighting. So like after you go on stage and fight your heart out, like those moments, those like little moments, even if you don't win, but showing yourself on that stage and just putting yourself out there and being, maybe having that anxiety before you go up there, just like kind of overthinking everything and then doing what you need to do and having all of like the audience cheer for you and everything. And then after the fact, you're like, wow, like that was so cool. And you want more. Like you go back and
yeah,
train even harder and it does not stop. Like a lot of the times we're like, oh, you'll take a break or take a week, take a day off. No, that Monday, we're back training. There, it
right,
does not stop. Like, because especially in sparring, because it's so like it's been jumping back and forth a lot lately. Not the same people are winning anymore.
right.
The sparring divisions are so like back and forth and the same not the same
Yeah,
person is winning. It's someone different a lot of the times recently. So
right.
it's hard, I say, to keep like the consistency.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely agree with that. I know. I don't know. I could tell all kinds of stories as I've been doing this for a really freaking long time. But, as far as, for me, I go back to, my first overall grand championship at the Super Grand. So this was one where the year before in 2009, I had lost to Austin Jorgensen. And after that, my goal was, all right, next year I'm winning this. And that was my thing. That was my goal, that by next year when I come back here, I want to make it to stage for every division, and then I want to win the overall grand. Uh, and what's funny at that time, I stopped doing traditional just to focus on my open stuff, to my creative stuff. So I was just said, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to focus in on this. And when that happened, the way that I like pictured it, and even like a month before, I rewrote everything down and it happened. It was just, yeah, it was emotional. It's exciting, and then you're like, hey, let's do it again, and let's do it again, and for a little bit, I had a streak of like 3-4 years in a row of winning overall. So it was really cool for that to happen every year at that event. Um, but it has to start somewhere, right? So again, Melina, you've been on just a really cool journey the past 2 years, right? Of what, let's say it, like maybe hoping to get in that top four and then getting to stage, and then like so. What was the biggest change for you, or what are some changes that had happened over these past 2 years to help you get to that point?
I think the biggest change was honestly my mindset. Like I feel like everybody says that, but I think after winning my first time ever in the black belt division and then getting on stage for the first time ever, like I think in that moment, that's when my whole mindset shifted. I'm like, okay, I can do this. Because
Mhm.
before I was competing, I was trying my best, like in the NASCA circuit, it's kind of tough to get in if you're, especially if you're starting out new, to fight your way to that fourth place, that third place, that second place. It's tough those first few years.
Yeah,
So to finally get there, that's kind of what shifted everything for me.
that's
It's more
awesome.
like,
That's
well, like
awesome.
if I can do this, what else can I do?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Did the mindset help you change your training? Did anything because of the mindset, did that flip everything else after, which usually it does, right?
Yeah. It definitely
Yeah.
did. I had some switch around with some coaches and everything. I also started some weightlifting on the side as well, like functional strength training, which I wasn't really doing before, but like it's actually so helpful. And I feel like a lot of people that a lot. Like they're just like doing
Yes.
their forms over and over again, and it's
Mhm.
like, well, it's not just
Exactly. Yeah, you can't just do the same thing over and over and expect different results, right? So
Yeah.
it's craziness. So yeah, you gotta put in that work, that extra little bit. Um, and the biggest thing, something that I've been uh, teaching about this week is just like, are we doing what we say we should be doing, right? Or are we actually living out what we teach, especially as martial artists, right? Are we living out that respect, that honor, that actual perseverance, And I think competition is the best time for us to really test ourselves on that. Like, are you really a determined person? Are you really persevering? Because right now you're having a rough time in this and you're just kind of just doing the same thing. All right.
Mhm.
Focus in on the things you're neglecting. If every time you're slipping on this and that, or your stances, four tournaments in a row, someone said it was your stances or your feet, or hey, your eye control or something. Well, someone's not paying attention, and that be you. Put the finger back on you, that you're not paying attention to what the problem is, right? So I think that's awesome. It all starts with that mindset. It all starts on focusing in on what it is you want, right?
right.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So, Melina, share everyone what divisions you compete in, and what are your right now. What's your favorite division to do?
So right now I'm doing creative bladed, musical weapons, traditional bladed, and then traditional forms, try challenge, and then I do traditional sync weapons with my brother. I would say my favorite has got to be musical. Like even though I'm winning mainly the traditional weapons, that musical division, it's like a lot of the women's divisions are pretty small, but that musical division consistently has like at least 10 women in it. So that it just gets
Right.
me hyped. Everybody's music, I'm bumping, I'm jamming. Like I'm having a blast.
That's awesome. Melina, for people that don't know or haven't seen you compete yet, what weapon is it that you do so they know?
I do sword.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry. Had to put my
I
piece
mean,
in.
you're from Florida, so I mean, you should do sword, right?
I do sword. I used to compete
I
with
guess
sword.
so. I guess it's a Florida thing.
In some ways, it's kind of funny. I never thought of it as a Florida thing, but it's kind of turned out to be a Florida thing. To me, it's like a
Yeah.
Haley
Florida
too.
or a Georgia.
Yeah, Haley too.
Yeah, Florida or a Georgia thing to me. It's like, all right.
That's so funny.
I mean, for me, like Nick Begley, Caitlin Deschelle, Haley, there's so many, Diego, everybody. So Florida does sword. I'm sure I'm
Yeah.
missing
Yeah.
people too. All right. So you two both are from Florida, but different parts of it. What are some things about just that state that produces so many great martial arts champions?
That's
You
a
can
good
go.
question.
I know. I had to think about it. I was like, wait.
I honestly don't know. But now that like you brought it to my attention, like there are a lot of great martial artists that come out of here. I mean, like Caitlin Deschelle, Ariel Torres. I remember like I used to train with Sage Sweeney. She used to be pretty big on
Yeah.
Yeah.
the circuit. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. And
don't
then
know.
from my end, you have Mark, Haley, uh, Sammy. There's
Yeah.
so many of them.
Yeah.
Just
Chris Walker, and a lot of fighters, Preston
oh,
Clemens,
the
Alex.
fighters. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially between
Reyes.
just the whole state of Florida,
I
like,
mean,
but specifically Miami and like Orlando has all the fighters now.
yeah. Yeah. It's insane. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Oh, is Peyton, you coming back with a sword? You're gonna come back with a sword? That's what
Oh,
Leandro
jeez.
just said. I think we need to see that.
Yeah.
Mm,
Now we
I
got
don't
two new things we
know.
were working on. She already told me earlier she was going to start doing Korean, and then now sword
Whoa.
and
Oh,
Korean.
I did tell you that. I
You
said I
did
would do
tell
the
me
Korean
that.
division
See,
before I would do anything else. Yeah, I definitely said I would do Korean before I did like anything else. That would be the one
so
I'm most confident in. So
all right. Share your background, Melina. What school I know you said Premier, but your instructors and things, and who you train with.
Yeah, so I go to Premier Martial Arts Pembroke Pines, so that's kind of like in the suburbs of Miami. My instructor is Jeff Assessor. He owns the school. And then I also train with Caitlin Deschelle and Ariel Torres for sword and for traditional forms.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Yeah, it was cool. I guess a month ago we had Caitlin on the show finally, and we had a blast just sharing with her, sharing old times and things. So it was a lot of fun. Um, all right. So when you were growing up, what circuit were you doing besides NASCA? What was the local circuit in your area? Because you're in the Miami area.
Yeah, we had the FBBAX circuit, and then we also had Blitz, and we had Four Seasons, and those three kind of like
Yeah.
interchanged at
I
some
remember
Yeah.
point.
those.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds about this. I mean, as far as what I remember, and yeah, I mean, and I've
Yeah.
been down there several times over the past few years, and yeah, there's a lot of differences on it. But I mean, the main people are there doing, pushing
Yeah.
that. Um, who were some people that you grew up competing against that push you to strive to be that national competitor?
Hmm. I mean, I will say I didn't start competing in NASCA until I was like 14, 15, and then that same year COVID hit. So then by the
Oh,
time I came back, I was like 16, 17. But I will say that 16, 17 division, when we got back from COVID, it definitely like pushed me a little bit. I was competing against Katie McMillan. I compete against her now. I was competing
yeah,
against Ali, Kira, all really great martial artists, honestly, and
right.
especially as like somebody that didn't grow up in the circuit since I was little, it was like, okay, so this is kind of what I have to go against. This is the vibe of the environment. Okay, gotta step it up.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a big difference, right? Just from going from regional competition to NASCA or whatever the next level is. And I'm sure the same thing for those that are going from NASCA to like WACO, because it's still different, right? Those that are competing this week, um, even though maybe the level or even the competitors may not even be the same or be the same.
Mhm.
It's the arena, right? It's the environment. Everywhere you go is different. Even people that maybe have gone to like a WKU or WKC somewhere, no matter what, it's all different. So, and
Mhm.
even those that are going to traditional circuits, right, from what we do. I know for me, going to AAU Taekwondo was different, and I loved it because at first, I thought no one knew who I was, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm just this kind of person that hasn't done anything here," and then found out some didn't know who I was, but it was still cool because I it was just a whole different arena, right? And different rules and different things. Um, what is maybe a rule that you would like to see changed, or maybe something that you would just like to maybe try something different besides NASCA, as far as like a different type of circuit or
In
platform
terms
or
of like
competition?
the rule thing, I mean, this is gonna be like a hot take, but kind of like the whole music rule. I would like if it were up to me, I would add like a traditional musical division. Have it
Okay.
be its own thing, and then they can all go against each other in the overall. That way we still get like that head to head of like CMX versus traditional because I loved it. I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It's definitely something different than was being done before.
To
Right.
piggyback off of that, I think sometimes the traditional forms have more musicality than like the creative
Well,
or
yeah.
extreme forms.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
It's
you
not just
can hit
pro.
beats with those forms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, so I see the reason why the rule was done, because the whole point of splitting up CMX and open, I mean, and traditional, was to get
Yeah.
them to not compare it, and then you're having to bring it back. So I would like to have it. I think, you know, again, one of the problems is we keep adding divisions, but to have that is still is a good thing, and maybe we have an overall or all around type thing, but maybe not
Hmm.
at every tournament. Maybe there's just 4 tournaments like the big Grand Slams that you have an all around, championship.
Hmm.
Where you have the CMX winner versus the traditional winner or something like
Like
that. I don't know.
the bigger
Like,
Nazcas.
Yeah.
the Warrior is, because that's pretty much what the
Yeah.
Warrior Cup is, right?
Hmm.
So there's things like that would be cool. But I do think it is something we are actually doing that and trying that at a tournament that I am going to be directing and co-promoting with USA Karate and Century and Punok, which will be in West Virginia. There's going to be a musical traditional on that Friday night. So that way, not only the open style competitors can do it, but also maybe some of the USA and KF competitors would like to try that as well with musical traditional. So that would be in October in West Virginia. That's the All American Classic. So we'll be telling everybody more information about that soon. But let's see, musical trud winner versus trud winner. Yep, that could definitely happen there, Leandro.
Hmm. Hmm.
All right. So, Peyton, what do you got for us? You got anything you want to ask Melina or a topic you would like to bring Melina in on?
I mean, since we talked about it beforehand.
See, I'm not.
You brought it up. I have to. Like,
I mean,
dating in the circuit, How is it going for you?
I mean, I would say it's going good. I think it's definitely like interesting. It kind of changes
Hmm.
like your environment because I feel like when you go and compete, like your parents tell you like, "Oh, you did great." Your students, "Oh, you did great."
Yeah.
Like, that other person that's also competing can tell you, maybe it didn't look so high, Like, so it's good. It's like a different set of eyes that like knows what's going on.
Yeah. Not only that, I also feel like it's not, I'm not going to say it's easier, but in some ways it is because they know your schedule, they know your training schedule. A lot
Yeah.
of the times they'll be at tournaments with you. It's like, so they know how it goes.
Why I'm in the gym for 2 hours, like
That
you
exactly.
know
Like,
why.
cause when you have non-karate people in your dating life, they're like, why can't you hang out? I have training. Sorry.
You're gonna train for 2.5 hours? Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So true. It's so true. I mean, that's a great point. Like they get it, they understand, what it's like. So that's true. Uh, do the competitive juices or do the competitive thing? Is it too much sometimes?
No, I don't think so. I will say though, like the day that I'm competing, I go very like silent, like I don't like to talk to anybody or like be interacted with. So that's something that he's kind of had to put up with. But yeah, I'm like so like locked in, like headphones on, like tunnel vision. So yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it's like the losses. Like when you lose and they try to
Oh my
come up, oh, you did, go away, go away.
That's so funny. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Have you ever had to compete against like your significant other?
Yes, we went to a local tournament and we competed against each other. We did trad sword against each other, and we made a bet. We were like, okay, if I win, you have to buy me this. If you win, you have to buy me that. Unfortunately, I lost, and I ended up having to buy a video game. But I mean, it is what it
That's a
is.
good way to do it. That's a good way to do it. I like that. Diego said he won.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's probably a healthier way to do it than some probably have, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I experienced it for many years with that competing at tournaments, with them. When I was growing up, though, like in certain divisions, guys and girls compete against each other, so
Mhm.
it was a lot different. Where it was straight up all the time. You were still competing like all the time. It wasn't just in grands or even in divisions. So it was a lot different. But then I even at one point when it was older and I was dating someone on the circuit, we both actually had tournaments. And then it was a competitive of who had the best tournament, who put on the best thing, who put this, oh, I did this, who's the better, and it got a little too much, but it's funny.
That's funny.
But
I can imagine.
yeah. See, that's the next level. You guys are still young. Now you got, running karate schools and things and competitive like that, right?
Yeah.
Peyton, what about you? What was the bet? What's the hardest thing?
Um, I don't really know. I would definitely say like having to get over the fact that like someone is immediately gonna want to talk to you after you lose, or
Mm,
like, because
yeah,
they're gonna want to comfort you and just be there. Me, I'm more like get out of my face, go away, let me do my thing, and then we can talk.
got it,
Because
got
like
it.
if I get through like a sparring match and I know I should have won, or like there was a point difference and I know I could have gotten the point, and you come up to me and be like, oh, you did so, bye, please.
It's like losing by 1-9. Like,
Yes.
no, don't want to hear it. Please no.
I don't
Yeah.
want to know what I could have done better. I don't want to know what you thought. Go away.
Oh man, don't eat. Oh, all right. So, what do you guys think about that? Like, all right, you just mentioned that. All right, so losing by 1-9, and again, people will come up to you and be like, "Oh, that's a big win for that was still a win." I'm like, "No, like, I'm still mad." Like,
Like the worst
no,
way to
like,
lose.
yeah, it's like, come on.
Like painfully close.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
The
that's
same way in
happened too
sparring
often.
where it's like a point difference. And you go in for something and they're like, no call. And there's like 2 seconds left. You're just like, oh, okay, I guess.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh man. All right. So what's next for everybody? We talked about regional stuff. What we're doing. Everybody doing diamonds after all the other stuff. Yep,
Diamonds.
diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually while we were waiting on you, Peyton, I was buying my ticket. So got my diamonds ticket, boom, done. Got all my registration done, ready, and locked in and ready to go. And then I'm gonna get my Toronto ticket too while it's still kind of cheap. So
The week of my birthday. I never go.
it's this year. It's oh yeah, that's right. You're a December baby too. That's right.
Me too.
I'm
Oh my
you are too.
gosh.
Oh
That's
wow, that's
crazy.
crazy. That must have been why he was saying. Leandro was saying that. I didn't even realize that. But I my birthday's Christmas Day, so you know
Wow.
it's yeah, it's too much.
Mine's,
So
yeah, mine's the first week. So it's not.
Mine too.
first week,
When's
yours too.
yours?
Okay.
December 8th.
Oh, one of my students is December 8th. Yeah, mine's the 5th. So I never go to Toronto
Yeah,
because it's always that week.
yeah. This year, yeah, it's a week later, so it's like really deep into it. So it's like
It's like 14th,
already,
I think.
yeah, and it's gonna be cold, man. It's gonna be cold. But of all places, I don't know, Toronto is a cool place for I don't know, just Christmassy to me. Like there's a lot of cool stuff. But I don't know. Were you there last year, Melina?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, all right, I thought so. Yeah, yeah. It was
It
it
was
was cool.
cold.
But it's cold. It's cold. It's cold.
Yeah, you see,
So
I don't want to do the cold tournaments back to back. No, I'm good.
Yeah, Toronto and then AK. Oh my God.
Yes.
oh
Get me
yeah.
started.
And see, when I was younger growing up, Diamonds was in November, and like we had snow. Like one time, literally, it was up to my well, I was a lot small. I'm not that much smaller, but I'm shorter. But to like my neck, like that's how crazy it
Oh.
was as a kid. Yeah, it was insane, and they had one of the worst snowstorms ever there while we were all there. But it was ironically their biggest tournament. I think their biggest tournament to date was that time. So it was kind of funny.
Yeah, the us Florida people don't know.
No, it
Wow.
No.
60, 65. I'm freezing. Hello,
Look
why
at this.
last?
Yes.
Putting us
Look
on
at this.
blast.
Wow. Got some history going on.
I guess so.
Yeah, the new venue is going to be sick. Again, though, my only thing that I tell them is like, listen, now we're going to be in a hockey rink in Toronto in December. Talk about cold. Yo, everybody needs to be bringing their boots and 3 layers of socks while you're walking around. Have you guys ever competed in a hockey rink, like in a tournament on a hockey rink before? Oh, yeah. I've done it way too many times. Okay. Boston, back in the day, Boston, Massachusetts, which already is a cold area, right? There was that. Super Grands one year for a whole week was in Niagara Falls on top of, Super Grands 99 on top of an ice rink.
Oh, that
And
part's
then there's another place. There's several different ones where it's happened, and it's freezing. And I almost put my tournament on there one time at a hockey rink, and I was just like, no, I can't do that to my people. Can't do it. I know how it feels. But in Canada, I mean, everybody's used to that. That's like home to them.
Yeah.
Oh
too
man,
cold.
too cold. All right, so anything you want? Any shout outs you got, Melina, to give before we finish up?
No, not really. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. No problem. It's been fun. This has been a great episode.
Yes.
And
Yes.
thanks for being open and vibing with us. And I don't know, scared, just have some fun. So again, guys, how can you follow Melina? Tell everyone your handles.
Instagram and Facebook is just my first name and last name with an underscore in between.
Awesome. So check her out and message her for private lessons or seminars. And same thing, message Peyton over there. She has a weird one. Do yours is like underscore pay underscore.
Oh yeah, mine's underscore pay underscore 01.
There you go. All right. Sometimes I always forget that when I'm trying to tag you when we're doing these things, and I can't find it. And
I
so,
think
yeah,
I have it linked to my Facebook, so you might be able to go to my Facebook profile and go to my Instagram. So
sweet. Sounds good. Oh yeah. Hold on. I give Leandro credit. Who set you up? So he's saying it's Leandro who set you guys up. So gotta get shout out to Lee. Oh man. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. This has been another great episode of Peyton's
Extra Scoop.
Extra Scoop. Have a blessed day, guys. See everyone soon.